So you've just signed up with Soapbox Engage and you're using the Events app and you're wondering, where do I get started? Here's our recommendations for getting started with your first events page. When you come to the administrator for Soapbox Engage, you see our control panel. On the control panel, you'll see a number of different options for the different apps across the top. Yours might look different depending on the apps you've chosen to use in your trial or getting started. And then on the left side here, you'll also see different references to the most recent pages you have in each one of those apps. On the left side here, you'll see the event pages, and you'll have a default one called My First Event when you first start with Soapbox Engage. What we'll want to do here is go ahead and not click the Customize URL or the View, but click on the Edit button to take us into the editing mode for customizing our first event. So this tutorial is about getting to understand just your first customization of what you do at the start in using your Soapbox Engage trial for events. We've got a number of different tabs here once we go into the edit mode for the event, and let's go ahead and click on the Edit tab to start. And what we want to focus on this tutorial on is really just the key fields that you'll need to customize for your first event. Those include the title field, where you can customize what the title of the event would be, the customizing of the URL, so this is the web address that people will go to get to the event. Obviously, we recommend publishing the event and setting that to yes, so that people can access the event, or you can access the event through the front end. And then setting a start date and time, you can customize both of these here. For the venue, you can feel free to add a venue, but to start with, you might just want to leave it set to whatever the default venue is during your trial. And then a little further down below, we'll see ticketing information here. If you like to customize any of these tickets or create new ones, you can click the Add Ticket button to create a new ticket, or you can click on this edit icon here to be able to edit an existing ticket. So in this case, you might want to rename the ticket, you might want to set a different price for it, set different quantity available, or the minimum and maximum number of tickets that can be purchased. These are all customizable for you to change on an event by event and ticket by ticket basis. We'll skip over the promo code section, but know that it's here in case you want to be able to add promo codes to provide discounts in the future. And we'll go right to the description area where you can go ahead and customize the text that shows up regarding the description of the event. So this can be text, it can be also the inserting of images, and for any of the text you have, you can highlight the text and do things like bold, italicize, underline, even add links to whatever you wish on the description for the event text. The next tab is the Reservations tab, and this is collecting information about the person who is placing the registration. So this is not for the attendees, this is for the actual person making the registration. In this case, we'd recommend leaving most of these to be set for just the use the global config. Just for your first event page, kind of keeping it simple would be great. We're really just focused on collecting the first name, last name, and email address of the person placing the order. The next tab is the Attendee tab. This is where you're collecting information about the individual attendees themselves. In this case, we recommend following the same process of going ahead and choosing the different options for the Use Global Config, just to keep it simple to start with. You can customize these if you wish, but here are all the different standard fields that we collect for attendees. I'd recommend just leaving the first name, last name, and email address set to be show, and let's just keep everything else hidden for now. In the future, you'll see down here in the custom Salesforce fields that if you've linked your Soapbox Engage account with Salesforce, you'll be able to click the Add Salesforce Element button to add custom Salesforce fields as well too. The Reservations tab is going to show us who's registered for the event, and unfortunately we have no reservations yet, so we'll move on to the Messages tab where you're customizing who is receiving confirmation emails and what do they see in those confirmation emails and after they make the reservation. So in this case, we recommend just leaving it set to be able to say yes to send the email to the user. I'd customize your from email name and your from email address to be that of your organization. And then customizing the subject and the email text body would be great as well too. A little further down below, the RSVP confirmation page message. This is what somebody sees after they click the registration button and they successfully registered for your event. I'd customize the title of it as well as the page's content. Again, text can be whatever you wish, and inserting of images or other elements could be included as well. And then a little further down below, I'd recommend leaving the defaults that you have for your trial for the sales expiration or expired message. So what happens when all ticket sales have been expired, as well as what happens when the event reaches its capacity. Finally, we have the Integration tab. This is where you're going to be able to send your registrations immediately from Soapbox Engage into Salesforce if you've configured your Salesforce integration. We'd recommend turning this to yes if you've got that turned on. And you can click the Select button to be able to choose which campaign in Salesforce you'd want this to be connected to, so that each time somebody makes a registration, their ticketing information goes into Salesforce. So you'd select the one you'd want, you hit the Select button, and you're all set. After you've made all those changes, the one last thing to do is to hit the Save button. This will save all of the changes that you've just made, and it confirms it has been saved. And if we go into the control panel here, or from that view there, you can go ahead and click the View button to now view your event.